was hanging out with some friends, and they were at one of his friend's house that was on the Green Lake Peninsula.
It's March 2nd, 1983. 18-year-old David Gionet is spending the night with friends near Interlochen in Grand Traverse County.
And then the group of them decided to go down to the Fireplace Inn, which was common for them. So they went down to the bar, hung out there for a while, and then towards the end of the night, they ended up returning back to that friend's house on Green Lake Peninsula.
That walk back up the peninsula would be one of the last times anyone would report seeing Gionet alive. State police have been looking into this case for decades. We were asked to conceal the identity of one of the troopers who has been part of the investigation.
But Dave was kind of the last friend that was hanging out there. He was talking to his friend that lived at that house and was talking about getting home sooner so that he could make it to school that morning, and was discussing kind of walking across Green Lake. That friend walked with him to the edge of the lake just to show him, that ice wasn't safe, you can't do that. And they ended up kind of talking him into not doing that.
With that, David headed south down the Green Lake Peninsula.
And that was the last time that he was seen. In days following, none of his friends had really heard from him. And so on the 7th, 4 days later, he was finally reported missing.
The Coast Guard and local dive teams did multiple searches on Green Lake, given one of David's last reported conversations. But those searches turned up nothing, and dives on the lake in the years since also came up empty, all but eliminating the possibility that David tried walking across Green Lake.
March was unseasonably warm that year, and so there wasn't even really ice on the lake at all at that time. And then follow-up interviews also showed that Dave was deathly afraid of the ice, and that typically would never walk across the lake like that.
So detectives were left to chase down other leads. There were rumors David may have left the area on his own, but there's no evidence to back that up, and all of David's belongings were left at the cabin he was staying in. There was also a tip that his body may have been found in Florida, but that never panned out. Detectives chose to reopen the case in November of 2022.
And we did get people that called in with further information, but it all is rumors. I mean, there's nothing that could be confirmed. There's nothing that we were able to solidify as being a legitimate lead.
Leaving investigators and David's family without any answers.
What happens now with this case?
I think we wait for somebody to hopefully have a conscience, and they come forward with some sort of information that they might have that can lead us in the right direction, so that we can give Dave's family some peace and some answers, and that Dave also gets that peace.
If you have any information on what happened to David Gionet, contact Michigan State Police. For 9 and 10 News, I'm David Leiden.